So, you would like to learn about storytelling? Let me tell you a story. Once upon a time, there was a boy named Jack who lived in a small town. One day, as he was walking through the town square, he heard a commotion coming from the local bakery. He went inside to see what was going on and found the baker in tears. The baker explained that he had lost his prized recipe book, which contained all of his secret recipes that had been passed down through generations. Jack felt a pang of sympathy for the baker and offered to help him find the missing recipe book. He began to ask around the town, gathering clues and piecing together the mystery. As he went from person to person, he began to weave a story about the missing recipe book. He told of a mischievous mouse who had snatched the book and was hiding it in a secret lair. The townspeople were skeptical at first, but as Jack continued to spin his tale, they became more and more intrigued. Eventually, they all joined in the search, and they combed every inch of the town until they found the book hidden in a corner of the bakery. The baker was so overjoyed and thanked Jack for his help. As Jack walked away, he realized the true power of storytelling. It had brought the town together, given them a common goal, and helped them to solve a problem that they could not have solved alone. From that day on, he knew that his love of stories could make a difference in the world. And so, dear friends, never underestimate the power of a good story. It has the power to bring people together, to inspire, to teach, and to transform our world. But why does storytelling work so well exactly? First of all, human brain is wired for storytelling. Our brains have evolved to process information in the form of narratives, and we tend to remember information better when they are presented to us as a story. This is because stories engage our emotions and create a sense of meaning and context, making the information more memorable. From business to politics, from social change to personal growth, storytelling is everywhere. Storytelling is all about telling stories, of course, but in a way that makes them highly engaging and forces your audience to evoke emotions related to the tone of your story. If your story is about something sad, if you tell it in the right way, people will feel some kind of sadness. If your story is a happy one and you will tell it in the right way, people will laugh and also be happy while listening to your story. By telling a good story, you can catch their attention, you can force their bodies to evoke emotions that you want them to evoke, and you can even manipulate others in some way. All of this combined makes storytelling one of the most powerful techniques of all time. That's why it is used in so many fields. The first field where storytelling is used is marketing and advertising. Brands use storytelling to create some kind of emotional connection with customers. By creating a brand story that communicates the company's mission and values, or using customer stories to illustrate the benefits of their product, companies can build a loyal customer base. I've heard a story recently about a guy who bought 200 items for $1 each. Then he created an engaging story around these products, put it into the description of this product and sold it once again, but this time not for $1 but for $16 each. I mean, that's a good profit, isn't it? The second field is education. Teachers use storytelling to engage students and make complex ideas more accessible. By using stories to bring history to life or explain some scientific concepts, teachers can create a much more engaging learning experience. I mean, you can tell yourself that it is much easier to remember something and to understand something when it is presented to you as a story. My chemistry teacher used to explain all of these complicated reactions by comparing them to the process of making a sandwich. That was so simple, yet so brilliant. He told, look, you have the slice of bread, which was coal, you have 2 slices of ham, which was oxygen, and you combine them and you have a sandwich, which was CO2. That was so amazing. The third field is politics and advocacy. Political campaigns and advocacy groups use storytelling to create narratives that resonates with their voters and supporters. By using personal stories to illustrate the impact of a policy or creating a larger narrative around the particular issue, politicians and activists can mobilize people around a cause. And finally, storytelling is used in entertainment to create compelling narratives that engage audiences. From novels to movies to video games, storytelling is the heart of pretty much every social media. Now, you may be wondering, how can I become a great storyteller as well? Let me explain it to you real quick in some steps. But before we get into that, I want to tell you that I will cover those steps only partially. In case you would like to learn more about them, go ahead and click the first link in the description. You will find a video there in which I explain all of those steps in depth. With all of that being said, let's move on to the 4 steps that can help you become a great storyteller. First of all, you have to spend time, a lot of time, gathering your own stories. You may create some of them if you are creative enough, but also you can take some stories from your personal life. On average, you should find somewhere around 15 stories from the past 2 years of your life. When you have those stories, you should think if they are engaging and if they relate to any life situation. I mean, if you have a story about the day when you are on your way back home and you broke your arm, will it be good to tell such a story to your audience? Will your audience be engaged by such a story? Does telling a story like this make any sense? You should look for stories that are universal, such as story about the boy and the fox. In that story, the boy was scared because he was lost in the foggy forest and he couldn't see his way out. Then the fox told him that if he can't see the way out of the forest, he just needs to take the first step, and then another and another and another. And eventually, the boy will be able to get out of the forest. If you are sure that your stories are good and can be used in variety of situations, then you have to make sure that you can find a lot of details in them. The more detailed your story is, the easier it is for your listener to visualize it. And if your audience can visualize your story, they are more likely to remember it for a longer period of time. And finally, you have to make sure that you are telling your story in the right way. What I mean here is that you should try to avoid monotonous tone, and you should slow down when the story action slows down, speed up when the story action speeds up, and emphasize important words. Now, you know what storytelling is, why is it so powerful, and how you can become a great storyteller yourself. But in case you would like to learn more about becoming a great storyteller, click the first link in the description. But yeah, that's all from me for now. Thanks for watching and I hope we'll see you next time, guys.